Hey there, people of the interwebs. My name is Brandon Noel. Full disclosure, when I first recorded this video, that was my bird in the background. I don't know if you could hear him. Agatha. But when I was first recording this video, I set the microphone settings to the wrong mic, and so the audio is unusable. I tried to boost it up, and you can't hear a darn thing I'm saying. So I'm having to record an additional audio track to go over the video of me doing the sketch cover. Now, I have, before the video started, I lightly sketched in non-photo blue. You can kind of see it, but not really. The outline of my sketch. And this is Robin's 80th anniversary, 100-page, super spectacular. I am, of course, illustrating the only Robin that mattered, Burt Ward, the boy wonder, and from the 1966 Adam West Batman series, Bill Dozier Batman series. And I'm a big fan of the 66 Batman series. I have the big giant box set of the Blu-rays. It's just one of those cool things I absolutely love. My dream car, and one day it'll happen, is I want to own a 1966 Batmobile. Doesn't have to be screen used. It could be a replica or modern day, because they used to sell kits so you could turn your Lincoln into an actual 66 Batmobile. And that's my dream car, is the 1966 Batmobile. A little impractical, especially if it rains, but who cares? It's one of the coolest cars of all time. Burt Ward, he did such a good job as Robin. He really did. He's just the gosh golly gee Batman kind of sidekick. And I like Burt Ward. I like his depiction of Robin. And I dig what they did on that show. A lot of things that I illustrate or draw or paint tend to be old TV, old movies, because the stuff I like. Sometimes you just have to draw the stuff you like. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll do a commission. I've drawn Deadpool hundreds and hundreds of times. And he's just a character that I don't care for. But when you're doing a commission, I used to care for him. I actually liked Deadpool at one point when it was the Deadpool cable series in the mid 2000s. I liked that series a lot, but it's just too much Deadpool. Not enough Burt Ward. Yeah, the unfortunately, I would loved it, but when they were doing the 66 Batman series, a comic book, kind of, it was supposed to be like a continuation of the 66 series, but they could get away with the lack of a budget issue, and they could do more crazy stories that they could never do on the TV show for budgetary reasons. And I like that. I like that a lot. I recommend you check that out. For those of you who don't know all the craziness that went on during the 1960s with Adam West and Burt Ward, and there's a great mini documentary called Return to the Batcave, and then of course Burt Ward's autobiography and Adam West's autobiography or biography. Those are great reads. Burt Ward, of course, was it the Catholic League of Decency? Apparently Burt Ward is a gifted individual when it comes to what's under the utility belt. And the Catholic League of Decency boycotted the 1966 Batman show and protested based off of his bulge, the bulge of young Burt Ward's manliness offended the Catholics so much that they had to write the production companies and try to boycott the show. This was a big issue, but and it is. I feel bad that the studio really did try to come in and they tried to limit Burt Ward's bulge, and there's some horror stories involved with that in his autobiography. But ultimately, he got some advice from Adam West. He goes, just hide it with your cape. And so if you're watching some of the later seasons or episodes of Batman 66, he always kind of just swivels his hips a little bit and just kind of puts that cape out there in the front. Which is, it was a fairly simple solution, for Burt Ward, the boy wonder. And, of course it was the 60s, the crazy sex stuff was going on, the flower power movement, and, there are stories of Adam West and Burt Ward, walking in on orgies and kind of like the party stopping because like who invited Batman, to the orgy? And of course there's a really cool story where Adam West was with a couple of ladies, and I do mean a couple, in one night, and he screwed up his schedule and there was a hotel press conference. So he wakes up in bed with two women, and in the other room in his hotel are a group of reporters there to do a press conference with Batman, for Batman. So, hey, the 60s, baby. And I just love those kinds of crazy stories, because when you watch Batman 66, knowing that kind of stuff was going on in the background, Robin had slept with one of the younger ladies in the cast, and then in the middle of the night she came at him with a kitchen knife. So it's just like stuff like that. It's like, are you kidding me? They lived a heck of a life. Just that well, Burt Ward's still alive. He's a big animal rescue guy and very profound with the what do you call he builds his own, or he does a lot of with rescue animals and larger breed dogs. He has his own dog food, which I'm glad that he's gone on to find a cause and do something, and it's cool. It's a cause that I can personally get behind, and I love listening to him talk about animal rights and some of the stuff they put in dog food. Like according to an interview that I listened to with Burt Ward, they'll spray dog food with lard so that a dog will even eat more food when it's not even hungry. Like, it's just that grease. And I completely believe it, because this is the kind of stuff they do with our own potato chips for humans. So, but yeah, I love that kind of stuff. If you switching focus from Burt Ward and the Batman 66 stories, which, oh my God, you really should Return to the Batcave, if you can find it, a copy, is incredible. It's a made-for-TV movie about the making of the Batman 66 series, and how, like, when they made the pilot, unfortunately, Burt Ward's stunt double looked absolutely nothing like him, so they couldn't use Burt Ward's stunt double, and as a result, poor Burt Ward was sent to the emergency room like 5 days in a row, just back to back to back. He was electrocuted, he was burned, he was blown up. It's just like, oh my God. So when you watch the first two-parter of Batman, just know Burt Ward almost died in every other stunt. Eventually his stuntman did come in and start doing more of the stuff, but his stuntman looks absolutely nothing like Burt Ward, and you can tell the difference even now. It's like, stunt guy, Burt Ward. Stunt guy, Burt Ward. It's a fun thing you can kind of keep an eye out for when watching Batman 66. Now, switching focus to the actual issue, the 80th anniversary of Robin, the 100-page super spectacular 80th anniversary. I haven't read it. I thumbed through it. I will, I don't know if I'm going to read my own copy before I sell it, or if I'm just going to pick up a digital copy. Or I might just pick up another copy at my local comic book store. But the one thing I didn't care for was, I like this. They gave every Robin their own section. That I appreciated, because, there are some of us who really love Jason Todd. That's my Robin. He was my Robin, as a kid. Because here's what happened. When I was a kid, I was reading my uncle's comics. They were letting me read their comic book collection, and then at the same time I was reading the new stuff that was coming out. And at that time, at that time, Tim Drake was just kind of popping on the scene, and Nightfall was a big thing, so he'd been around for a couple of years, but he was still the new kid on the block. And so I'm reading Nightfall, but at the same time, I'm reading my uncle's books that are the Neil Adams kind of Batman era, but I'm reading all the Jason Todd Robin stuff, and I dug that Robin. Death in a Family is heartbreaking, and they've released it online recently, and I know you can find it, but the actual, like, he lived page, where it was, because when they killed off Jason Todd, you could call in a number, and either you called one number, he lived, you could call one number, he died. They have since speculated, or I think there's some proof that somebody was using an auto dialer and bumped up the numbers for Robin's death artificially. But he passed away something like for 42 votes or something. It was a really close vote. And that auto dialer really did kill Jason Todd. If that's the true story, it could be just comic book folklore at this point. So with that said, like, I, that Robin, the Jason Todd Robin, was kind of my Robin. So I appreciate they at least included a Jason Todd story, but they, at least from what I saw, every Robin had their own section, and they were separated by their own individual covers. And I didn't care for, like, the repurpose of the old covers, because I saw the Jim Lee cover from Batman All-Star. I was like, oh, okay, that kind of took me back, because it's like, am I reading a Jim Lee All-Star thing? No, it's just a divider in the book. Or the Jason Todd image was the one from Detective Comics when they brought him back, where he's holding the red hood and he's taking the hood off, and underneath is he's wearing the Jason Todd mask, the red mask. And so I just thought, well, you could have gotten different artists to do different sketches. Like, how cool would it have been to, instead of reusing that cover, republishing that cover, how cool would it have been to, like, a Bruce Timm sketch? It didn't even have to be fully rendered, just a black and white or, loose pencil sketch. And I thought that would have been really cool. So, that's just my own personal gripe. Again, I haven't read the book, so I can't speak to how good it is. The big 80th anniversaries are kind of cool, and I'm glad DC's doing that kind of stuff. At least, celebrating the history of their characters and the history of their company. I got a little ticked off when Marvel did the Marvel 1000. I was like, no, or 10,000 or whatever it was. It's like, your characters aren't that old. They all kind of came from the 60s, whereas the DC characters are coming from, the 1930s and 40s, and you're just trying to ride that anniversarial coattail of, the DC books. Even Archie's older than most Marvel superheroes. Archie goes back to the 40s. Spider-Man comes in the 60s. So, I mean, they're, the whole notion of, like, 80th anniversary. Like, no, Marvel. No. You have one character who you've continuously published since 1940, like, was it 42 or 41 or whenever Cap came in. You got one character. Okay, maybe two with Namor, the original Defenders. But, nobody other than Alex Ross is done anything with the original Human Torch or those characters. They're just, Marvel's not using them. So, I intentionally avoided the whole Marvel 10,000 or the Marvel anniversary book. Didn't appeal to me because I knew it was a marketing scam and it wasn't the actual anniversary of the characters. I'm not cynical at all. So, but anyway, the Robin. From my Robin was always Jason Todd, and there's that issue where he gets injured, and Batman takes him for medical attention with Maggie Sawyer, and you get the whole flashback. Like, there's a really good Jason Todd issues out there, not just the death in the family story or the Red Hood stuff, but he was a fully fleshed character, not a well-liked, fleshed out character. He was a stubborn punk kid, and I liked him for it. You got to remember, Jason Todd was the Robin that was the Robin during Crisis on Infinite Earth. And so, like, in a lot of ways, he was my first Robin. He was the guy I was introduced to, just because I was reading my uncle's comics before I was getting my own. You know, so Jason Todd was more or less my Robin. But I also grew up with Burt Ward and the incredible 1966 Batman show. It's available on Vudu if you haven't purchased it or seen an episode in a while. Just pick 2 random episodes, one random 2-parter, and you'll be pleased. There's no bad episodes. I've watched a bunch of them. I haven't made it through the whole box set. I hear season 3 gets a little rough with the lack of budget, but then you get Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. So there's Yvonne Craig, who actually grabbed my butt. I have a Yvonne Craig grab my butt story at a convention. We were taking a photo, and we're talking, and her hand goes a little south, and I don't know if she was just trying to put her hand on my lower back or if she was literally being a little cheeky. Either way, Batgirl grabbed my butt, and that is something I am incredibly happy about to this day. I have the photo. It's on my Facebook feed. Maybe I'll post it with this video. I don't know. Yvonne, I really do hope she grabbed my butt intentionally. But, okay, this is wrapping up here. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, throw $1 in the hat for the Patreon if you can. Bye, and have a great day.